Latest polling. This is important now as the midterms start to creep up. All right, this is a John McLaughlin poll. McLaughlin works for Republicans. And he's got a whole bunch of stuff. I'm going to give you the highlights of it. The first question is, does the United States wrong direction or right direction? Right direction, 39. Wrong track, 55. Okay? Which of the following statements regarding President Trump and his policies comes closest to your opinion? I approve President Trump and his policies, 36%. That's been steady for a while. I disapprove of President Trump personally, but I like a lot of his policies, 13%. That gets him up to 49% of the American public that will at least consider what the president has to say. I disapprove of President Trump and his policies, 47. So half the country considers him, half the country has written him off. For whom would you vote for Congress? Republican candidate supports capitalism, 49. Democratic candidate supports socialism, 36. That's an interesting thing. U.S. economy, not in a recession, 53. Recession, 40. Thinking about 2028, Democratic primary for president, who do you like? Kamala Harris, 28%. Gavin Newsom, 17%. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, 10%. Buttigieg, 8%. Kelly, 7%. That's an open field. I don't think Kamala's going to get it, but who knows? Who do you support on the Republican side? J.D. Vance, the vice president, 35%. Donald Trump Jr., wow, 16%. Marco Rubio, 15%. Nikki Haley, 4%. DeSantis, 4%. Iran, agree or disagree? Iran should not be allowed to block, attack, mine, or extort ships in the Strait of Hormuz. Agree, 72%. Disagree, 18%. It's a big one, big number. Agree or disagree? The United States must finish the job once and for all with Iran. Agree, 61%. Disagree, 28%. Another big number. Agree or disagree? Only United States citizens should be allowed to vote in elections. Agree, 82%. Disagree, 12%. And finally, voters should be required to show a photo ID when casting a ballot. Agree, 78%. Disagree, 17%. So you can see how out of touch the radical left is. But the media gives them all the attention. But regular folks have got the voting thing down. They know. And Iran, it looks like there's plenty of support for the president. So joining us now from Blauvelt, New York, is John McLaughlin, CEO of McLaughlin and Associates. What's the most important number in this survey to you?
The biggest turnaround was when you look at the generic ballot for Republican and Democrat for Congress, the Republicans are trailing 46-44. But you read the hypothetical ballot we put in where we framed it and said, do you support a Republican who's a capitalist, who supports a free market capitalist, or a Democrat who's a big government socialist? All of a sudden, the Republican lead goes to 49-36. So they go from being behind by 2 to being up by 13 points, 15-point turnaround. And internally in those numbers, what's really interesting is when you look at independents, they go from being down 16, the Republicans, to up 9, 25-point move. When you look at moderates, they're down 37, 60-23, running against big government socialists, they're up 41-35, 31 points. Women, they go up a net of 17 points. Hispanics, you go up from being down 55-37 to being down only a point, where it's virtual tie 43-44, 17-point gain. So if Republicans want to win, they need to have a contrast election and take the offense to the Democrats, which is hopefully what they'll do in September when they go to Dallas with the midterm convention.
But you know that every Democratic candidate now, outside of the big cities like New York and L.A., are going to run as moderates now. Well, I'm not a socialist, or I'm a democratic socialist, or whatever they make up. they're all going to run that way. Nobody's going to run unless you're a real, the guy in Michigan and, you got your district almost locked. They're not going to run on what they really believe. You know that. So how is the Republicans going to get through that?
By the way, I'm not sure. It's like when we ran the Trump campaign, we had to take it to Joe Biden every day. I remember telling Donald Trump, I said, every vote you can get is in his unfavorables. You have to attack Joe Biden every day. And he said he did that. And at one time in Iowa, he told me in January, he says, I don't think he'll make it. And I said, you might be right, but while he's there, you got to use it. And when Harris came into the race, he was like, yeah, I said, you're still ahead. You just have to, she's part of the same administration. You have to compare. And with the Republicans right now, the Democrats want to have a campaign where it's a referendum on Trump. They don't want it to be about them at all. They want it to be a referendum on Trump, whether you like him or dislike him. They don't want it to be about issues. And the Republicans for Congress, they need to run campaigns where they run on issues because Trump's not on the ballot. So they need their scorecards. They need their comparisons against the Democrats. And you're right. The Democrats are going to try to moderate. They're going to try to say, we're for Medicare for all.
But the Republicans the Republicans running for the House and Senate, they have to pay homage to Trump. That's 36% of the vote right there, Republican vote. They can't badmouth Trump. They can't.
Right. No, they can't. Well, most of them have gotten there because he endorsed them.
Yeah.
So his record of endorsements in the primaries is near perfect. So the base is totally united behind Trump, in spite of whatever the media and some of these other, pundits say. The base is united. The key is winning independents and moderates, particularly Hispanics, going back to, and the Republicans have to run on the issues to have those contrasts with the Democrats because Trump's not on the ballot, and Trump voters might stay home. Turnout for president was 155 million.
They absolutely may stay home. Particularly if he needs a big win in Iran. I mean, that'll turn the polling upside down. The affordability thing is impossible. You just, you expect if Iran would capitulate or we would make them capitulate, that the worldwide prices of commodities would come down fairly quickly. But there's only 3 months left.
Right.
97 days. We've been screwing around since the end of February with these people over there, and they're threatening, children and wives of the president. It's just insane. Yet there is a hardcore that hate Trump more than Iran. You know that. You know what I would do? Because I know you talked to Trump. I haven't talked to him in a while. You know what I would do if I were the Republican Party? I would put out a list of media names. I mean, name them, who supported the communists, who supported like Mamdani and Cortez and the nut in Maine, all of these people. I just put the media list out. Just put it out. And you know why? Because that then would become the conversation right there. If the bulk of the American people don't want this socialism, and they don't, all right, why do you want it? And so I'm not going to do it because I'm not a partisan player here. But the Republican Party could do it. So there's a little tip for you, John. It'll go nowhere. Yeah, I know, sure.
By the way, look at, Kathy Hochul in New York. She supported Mayor Mamdani.
Oh, you bet. And that's the first one and all the people who are supporting Hochul now for re-election.
Right.
List them.
Right.
List them.
Exactly.
Because she's allowing Mamdani to control the means of production.
Exactly.
We haven't done the story because it's a local story, and most people loathe New York and they don't want anything to do with it. But Mamdani says, I'm going to lower food prices 30%.
Right.
I'm going to open city-run grocery stores, and you'll pay 30% less for what you're paying in the big stores now. Where's that money coming from?
He can't do it. He's not going to do it.
He may try to do it, but he'd have to slap more tax on, see? And Hochul sits up there in Albany already owing hundreds of billions of dollars.
Mm-hmm.
And the city owes I don't have the exact numbers, but the city's broke. Who's going to pay for that? That's where the seizure of private property comes in, because you can't do it any other way. So they're already, saying if you've got an apartment more than $5 million, we're going to slap an onerous tax on you in New York.
Right.
This is going to expand. This is what communism does. This is what they do.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're getting into New York weeds now.
But you're right.
You talked to Trump. Is he going to be happy with this poll? Is he going to believe the poll? What do you think?
He believes our polls. I mean, we have a pretty good track record. I told him the Hillary lock was wrong in 2016. And in 2024, said we were going to sweep the battleground states and win the popular vote by 2. In fact, if you go outside his office, in Susie Wiles' office, there's a poster framed of all our polls from the primaries and the general election in 24. And the polls were deadly accurate. So he'll believe it. He needs to do more to get his job approval up so it helps the candidates running for Congress and Senate. And he's trying. He's focused on government, but during the campaign, he had a 57% job approval on election day in 24, and he had a 51% favorable, and we won 50% of the popular vote. So the Trump voters are there, and they want to hear the message, and they want to get out and vote. But the Republican Party needs to listen to them, and they need to do voter ID, proof of citizenship, pro-growth tax cuts, secure the border, and definitely win versus Iran. None of this cutting and running and
they got to lower prices too. I mean, and that's tied in directly with Iran. John, thanks very much. We always appreciate you coming on. And John's poll just out today, by the way. This is the first time most people are hearing about it. We really appreciate it, John. Thank you.